have with us in the studio a group of young inventors, and I'm going to talk first to Mr. Pat Pending. Mr. Pending, you have, if I may say so, a most appropriate name for an inventor.
Oh, yes, well, that is my invention.
I see, yes. To turn to you, Mr. Wicker, I believe you invented a chair.
That is correct, yes. Several chairs, actually. Apart from the one which bears my name, which, of course, has made a marked impression on people, I also invented the sedan chair.
Really? I've always wondered why a sedan chair is so called.
Well, that's for when you are tired and weary and you want a sedan.
Of course, silly of me. And finally, Mr. Lampwick. Mr. Lampwick, how long have you been inventing?
Oh, the best part of 23 years, actually. That is to say, 22 years, 11 months and 29 days. I started a day late, you see.
I see. And what have you invented?
Well, it's very simple, really. You see, you put it on your head after you've had a shower. Then you pull this little string here, which turns that little oojar there. The whole thing then swings round and empties porridge all over your face.
I see.
Yes.
But what exactly is the point of it?
I've no idea, but it's kept me happy for 22 years, 11 months and 29 days.
This is I'm Sorry, I'll read that again. A laughable mixture of impractical jokes specially invented to keep you happy for the next 29 minutes and 55 seconds.
Meanwhile, at London Airport...
Next, please. Have you read this?
Yes?
Anything to declare?
Yes.
Thank you. Next, please.
What? Well, wait a minute, I haven't,
Please, I'm terribly new at this job. I really wouldn't know what to charge you, so just run along, please.
Put away that camera!
Put that camera away, please.
Well, look, I want to declare it.
No, you can't!
I can. In fact, I have to. It says so on this notice.
I wish I'd never let you read it. Anyway, it's not a new camera, is it? It's more than 6 months old, isn't it? So you don't have to pay any duty, and I don't have to work it out. It's not new, is it? Tell me it's not new.
I bought it yesterday.
It doesn't look new.
Oh, yes, it does.
If it was scratched or something, you could fool me. Why don't you scratch it, please?
Well, I'm not scratching a new camera.
Just a little scratch.
No, look, it's a new camera.
Don't keep saying it's new!
Give it to me. There. Now, nobody would think it was new. Now, please go away and let me get on with my job.
Well, I'm going to open my case.
Don't you dare!
Well, look, you can't stop me.
I shan't look. I won't look in your... I won't. No. Oh.
There. What about that, then? What about that?
Just a few shaving sticks and cotton flannels.
Those are not shaving sticks. They're ivory tusks.
Are they? I've made one of my silly mistakes, haven't I?
And these are pure silk curtains.
It's cotton.
Silk.
No, it's just plain old undutiable cotton.
It's exotic, new, very highly dutiable silk.
I'm sorry. You've been done. They might have told you it was silk, but as far as I'm concerned, it's cotton.
Now, look here, my good man. Nobody does me. I don't buy cotton instead of silk, and I don't bring it in without paying duty.
Oh, dear. I say you wouldn't like to go off on another holiday, would you? Right now?
No.
I'll pay for it.
No.
Or you could emigrate, start a new life. Australia.
No.
New Zealand.
No.
Tibet.
No.
I say, I suppose you are English, aren't you? Only if you weren't English, and you weren't staying for more than 6 months, I wouldn't have to charge you.
Look, I am English, and I never intend to leave the country again.
Curse you.
I hate you, do you hear me? I hate you! I hate you!
You sound foreign to me.
I am not foreign.
There you are, an unmistakable foreign accent. You've got a foreign accent.
No, I haven't.
Oh, can you do a foreign accent? I bet you could do an Indian. Anyone can do an Indian.
I can't.
Please try and do an Indian. I could do an Indian. I'll do it first, then you try, all right?
No.
Oh, please, try it, just like this. Thank you very, very much, please. I have absolutely nothing to declare. Just passing through. No camera, no ivory, no silk. Thank you very, very much. Jolly good. Hello, bye-bye.
Your passport, please, sir?
Oh, thank you. My what?
Passport, please, sir.
But I haven't.
I can't let you in without a passport, you understand?
But really,
And don't try to disguise your voice.
wasn't-
And why are you dressed as a customs officer? Hey, Jack, there's a ruddy Indian here dressed up as a customs officer. Chuck him out there.
Oh, no,
Come on,
please.
this
Why?
The trouble with you, Archibald Briggs, is that you care more about things than you do about people.
Nonsense, my love. You exaggerate.
Then
You do.
why are you sitting there with that stuffed owl on your lap?
We're just good friends, you see.
Last night it was the alarm clock. Crooning to it all evening you were.
Not in front of the stuffed owl, dear. You know how jealous it gets.
And then there's the hall stand.
Oh.
You always kiss it goodbye when you leave for work. You don't kiss me.
Well, it gets lonely, dear. How would you like to stand there all day covered by a coat?
I do stand here all day covered by a coat. And now the last straw. I have to stay at home while you go off on holiday with the wardrobe.
Well, I thought it was looking a little pale, you see.
I don't think you love me anymore.
Of course I do, Cherub. I do.
Well, say it then.
Well, I love you. I've said it now.
More than things.
Of course.
What do you love most about me, Archibald?
Well, there's your wooden leg for a kick-off.
Camera! Action! Music! It's Movie Go Sound! Hello again. Last week you heard extracts from the spectacular Take Off Your Clothes and Laugh. This week we've got something quite different. A vintage musical from the 30s called Adam and Eve and subtitled Let the People Sin. Our brief scene takes place in paradise. The action opens in Texas sometime in the past. As the deer and the antelope play, the lovers, Adam, played by Coward Peel, and Eve by Hetty Mutton, as they approach each other for the first time, there is something about them that suggests a mood of innocence and naivete. They're both stark naked.
Stop it.
What is it?
I don't even know your name.
It's Adam.
Adam? Adam. Adam. I don't like it.
You got such a good name?
Eve.
I don't think much of that.
Oh, what do names matter as long as we're in love?
Are we in love?
Oh, Adam, you know you're the only boy for me.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, Adam.
Eve, what's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this? I'm gonna take you away from here.
You is?
You're darn right.
I am?
You is. We're gonna have a place of our own, and a horse and a buggy, and clothes, and we'll do things, you know. We'll do something really original.
We will?
You're darn tootin'.
I am?
You is.
Oh, Adam.
Oh, Eve. I was resigned to have life, but life as a bachelor. I was content with a heart that never fell.
And I was inclined to have arms, not knowing what arms were for.
I can show you.
What it all meant was a thing that I couldn't tell.
Let's find out together. But try to forget the time that we wasted here. Now we're together. We can start living, my dear.
It won't be long until that happy day. We'll find a way to go astray.
And then we'll have a ball after the fall. face the human race to this old tree and me. And when we had a ball after the fall.
The time is 8:25, and it's time for this week's good cause. And here with tonight's appeal is Lord Clumpwit of Lewes.
How do you do? Clumpwit speaking. Haven't I got a lovely voice? Have you ever thought how many people lack the basic necessities of life? Well, tonight, I appeal to you. None of you appeal to me at all, but I appeal to you. And for a worthy cause. I want £2,000 to build a swimming pool. Now, this swimming pool will bring a great deal of pleasure to myself. Now, I want that swimming pool, and you're not going to stop me, do you hear? Oh, no. In fact, you're going to pay for it, you tight-fisted bunch of penny-pinching misers. Now, I realize that some of you have only £5 or £6 in the world. Well, that's hardly worth keeping, is it? So you just pop it in a clean envelope and send it off to me. Now, there's no catch in it. Believe me. You send me your money and you never see it again. So no strings attached. And when any of you children listening, you've got a whole lifetime ahead of you, but I haven't. So just for the next 20 or 30 years, whenever you fill up your piggy bank, just let me have it, will you? And then when I'm gone, anything you save will be all yours. And I mean that very sincerely. Oh, and you old age pensioners. Well, nobody knows the value of money better than old age pensioners. So you'll appreciate just how much I want yours. And I want you all to know I shall be extremely grateful. And to all of you, I shall send a Christmas card, which you can pass around among yourselves. But be sure to let me have it back. Right, then let's see what you can do. Oh, yes, and if you have any old clothes, or any new ones for that matter, which I very much doubt, send them all to me. Because I can get a jolly good price for them, selling them back to you. And so this is Lord Clumpwit, ending my appeal for tonight. But remember, anything that you can send helps someone in need. Me. Good night.
And now we are proud to present once again the Tillingbourne Folk and Madrigal Society, who, in spite of overwhelming requests, are going to sing for us that beautiful song called The Wind.
The wind, 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 the
Here, Albert.
Aye.
I was wondering,
Aye.
what do we used to do with our eyes before we had the telly?
Do with our eyes?
Yeah, you know, when we only had the wireless and that. I mean, we must have looked at something.
Well, it's going back a bit, but I think I can remember staring at the wallpaper.
Oh, aye. Yeah, I seem to remember I even used to glance at the wife from time to time.
Go on, you never did.
Yeah.
Really?
I grant you she was a bit younger in those days.
Aye.
Marvellous though, wasn't it?
What was that?
There we was, listening, looking, and occasionally talking.
Here. What about pictures in the fire then?
Oh, smashing, wasn't it? Oh, that was entertaining.
That was real entertainment.
Aye.
Aye.
You can't do that these days, though.
No.
Not with smokeless zones and central heating and all that. You know, I've often looked at a radiator. You can't get no pictures out of that.
Except in, of course, when it lets off a little bit of steam, you know. Then it's like them pictures of clouds in the sky, you know, like a little bit of cumulonimbus floating about, you know. But it doesn't last like clouds, does it?
You know, I never thought of looking at radiator steam.
No.
No, I'll go home tonight, turn up the heat and have a good look.
Hey, careful you don't turn it up too much, or else you might get damp patches on your ceiling.
God, damp patches on the ceiling used to be good for a bit of a giggle as well.
Really?
Oh, you'll never believe the things I've seen in the convolvulations on a good old damp ceiling.
You know, I've never really watched a damp ceiling.
Haven't you? Oh, that was art, man, that was art, yes. Mind you, damp ceilings used to be a bit of a nuisance, though. What with all that dripping.
Yeah.
Aye.
Hey, but
Shocking.
Do you remember? Do you remember listening to a ceiling dripping into a good old-fashioned galvanised bucket? Do you remember? Do you remember that?
Lovely noise that used to make, didn't
lovely.
it? Splink,
Splink,
splonk,
splonk,
splank.
splinkety splonk.
Oh, splinkety splonk. Oh, yeah, very rhythmical and
Lovely,
musical that was.
lovely,
Oh,
lovely.
champion.
Champion, that's the word, champion.
You just can't get the same sort of tone out of a plastic
You can't,
bucket.
you can't.
No.
You can't. No.
Plastic ain't got the same tonal qualities as a
No.
craftsman-made job,
No,
has it?
no.
I mean, you get a sort of plip,
Dull plip,
plop,
a plop and a
plop.
plap, plap,
Yeah.
plip, plip,
Plip,
plop.
plop,
Very
plop,
dull,
yeah.
no. You know,
Why?
I used to like galvanised baths.
Buy
You like that?
Buy it. You don't see many galvanised
You
baths
don't,
these days,
don't,
do you?
No.
Do you remember how they used to hang on a nail in yard?
Aye. The lovely noise they made when you cupped all of the bottom and slammed it against the brick wall.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
was real
Yeah.
tonal quality for
Oh,
you
it
there.
was, yeah.
I used to look forward to Friday night. I'll tell
Oh,
you.
so did I.
You
So
did,
did I.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nothing like the old galvanised bath on mat in front of fire.
Nothing
eh?
like it,
No.
nothing to touch it.
That was a full evening's entertainment for you. Yeah. You could soak, look, listen, and cogitate.
Cogitate,
All
aye,
at the same
cogitate.
time. Oh, lovely that was.
Lovely.
Here. Do you remember carbolic soap?
Carbolic soap, do I remember? Oh, those were the days.
Oh.
Very powerful smelling soap was carbolic.
Oh, yes,
Ah,
yes. Oh,
by
aye.
George.
But it added to the evening's enjoyment,
It
didn't
did,
it?
yeah.
Oh, yes, you could soak,
Soak,
look, listen, cogitate,
Cogitate.
and smell.
By gum did we smell.
Ah, there'll never be evening's entertainment like that again. No.
Here, why not? Let's go home and do the things we used to do back in the old days.
What? You're not thinking.
Yeah, I'm going to have a bath.
You dirty monkey. Well, what I really feel like is a few minutes of jolly sadism. Now, where's that filthy, feeble old busker? Ah, there you are.
Yes, sir, here I am indeed. I am here, aren't I? Yes, I certainly am.
I see someone picked you up. Put him down, madam. You don't know where he's been.
Sir, you're speaking to the woman I love. This is my mother-in-law.
Yes, well, that's no reason why she should carry you around. Your mother-in-law, eh?
Yes, indeed, poor crotchety old soul, poor old mother-in-law. Say hello, you poor crotchety old thing.
Hello, son.
This is your mother-in-law, is it?
Well, not exactly. You know what I mean, do you? Eh? You know what I mean? We go out dining and canoodling.
Canoodling?
Oh, we often canoodle, yes. I thought I'd better say she was my mother-in-law, otherwise people might talk.
Yes. And you do a double act.
Yes, we do satirical songs, don't we, my precious love? There you are, she's funny.
Oh, sophisticated stuff, eh?
Oh, yes, we're so sophisticated, we even get at folk singers.
I say, that's a bit blasphemous, isn't it? I think you'd better tell us about it.
Are you ready, my little honey bun? Last year, my mother said to me,
I'm gonna tell you how you can earn yourself a fortune, and you're gonna start right now. There's only one solution, and you'll never end up broke. You see, I bought you a songbook. Now go sing for the folk. Don't sing a song of railroads, of women, or of beer. You know, I've known some folk, and freedom is the word they want to hear. Here's a verse to start you off, so learn it line by line. It doesn't really mean much, but it do sound fine.
Oh, it's blowing in the wind, and it's running in the tide. Times are changing, it can't be far away. Oh, the voice of freedom can never be denied. We'll sing about the Freedom Day. I think I got it. So I learned all the social evils, all the troubles, all the strife. And just 1 year at art school, I learned all about life. But I never learned to sing, and I never learned to play. In case it spoiled the purity of what I had to say, I just sing a song of freedom. Let freedom never fade, 'cause it's marching through the discotheques. It's on the hit parade.
Of course, he had to change his accent so people wouldn't worry.
Now I sound like I'm from town. Texas, though really I'm from Surrey. Oh, it's blowing in the wind and it's running in the tide.
Time they are a-changing, it can't be far away. The voice of freedom can never be denied. We'll sing about the Freedom Day.
Just one more. There's some call me a prophet and some call me a saint. Well, they just embarrass me, cause I'm almost sure I ain't.
You are.
I don't use a Bible and hymns ain't necessary. I just spread the gospel of Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Amen.
First I've marched to Aldermaston, well, it isn't very far. And the folk bow down before me as I'm marching in my car. And they ask,
What's freedom really mean?
I fix them with a stare and I hold my head up high and I boldly answer. Well, it's, you know, freedom, eh? Freedom. It's freedom is, it's blowing in the wind and it's running in the tide. The time they are a-changing, it can't be far away. And the voice of freedom can never be denied. Let's sing about the Freedom Day. One more. It's blowing in the wind and it's running in the tide. Times they are a-changing, it can't be far away. The voice of freedom can never be denied. We'll sing about the freedom. Ain't nothing more to be done. We'll sing about the freedom.
All God's children love Bob Dylan.
Sing about the Freedom Day.
My name's Spanner, Mike Spanner. I'm an eye, a private eye. I'm a tough private eye, a real tough private eye. I'm the guy that does the dirty jobs. Any dirty jobs to do, I do them. Where the action is, I am. I'm a man of action. I'm a tough man of action. I'm a real tough man of action. One morning, I'm asleep in my apartment when the phone rings. It was a toll call. Hello, this is Spanner, Mike Spanner, private eye.
Okay, wise guy. She's the commercials. Just listen. Steer clear of the Muldooney case, you hear?
Who is that?
Just drop the Muldooney case if you want to stay alive.
This is very mysterious. I never heard of the Muldooney case. I get out of bed and smoke 8 cigarettes while I fix breakfast, which consists of a half bottle of bourbon. I pour the bourbon into my face while I smoke another 12 cigarettes. Then I do some thinking, and you know what I think? I think I'm gonna be sick. I go into the bathroom where I shave and take a cold shower and pluck my eyebrows. I come out and dress, and I'm lighting a fresh cigarette when a guy who looks like he needs a facial busts into my room and leads with a right. I take his punch on the shoulder, and I roll with the punch, twisting his left arm up behind his neck. As I go down, he puts the knee in my chest, and I pin him with a throat hold. He gets me around the neck with his left foot, but I grab a handful of face and sink my free elbow into his stomach. Then we dance. Minutes later, he's gone without even leaving a phone number. It was just one of those things. I put out my cigarette and ride the elevator up to the ground floor. I step out into the street. I figured that somebody's out to get me. But who?
I've no idea, honey.
Say, who are you?
Mellifluous Schwarzkopf, baby. You're Mike Spanner, right?
What's it to you?
Just stay off the Muldooney case.
Hey, what's with this Muldooney case?
Search me.
Some of the time, baby, some of the time. 4 hours later, I drive down to the police department to see my old buddy, Lieutenant Riley. Hey, Lieutenant, just give me the lowdown on this Muldooney case, will you?
Lay off the Muldooney case, Mike. It's too hot. Take my advice. Keep your nose clean.
Sorry, I didn't know it was running. But how come everybody clams up on this Muldooney case? Let's see the evidence, Riley.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Is somebody paying you to keep your trap shut? I wouldn't like to think you could be bought, Riley.
Nobody says that to me, Mike. Remember that. Nobody says that to me.
Here's $100. Let's see the Muldooney file.
Okay. It's in this drawer.
But there's nothing in there but an egg.
That's right. Now beat it.
I have plenty of thinking to do, so I drive home. I still have to figure out what that last joke means. Back at the brownstone where I live, I go into my apartment.
He's in there waiting for me. A big guy with a build like a Rockefeller Center.
Okay, tough guy. So you can take good advice, huh?
Are you Muldooney?
Muldooney? Look, brother, quit fooling me. Who is this guy, Muldooney?
Who's Muldooney?
Yeah, who's Muldooney?
I don't know who's Muldooney.
Yeah, well, who does know who's Muldooney?
I don't know who knows who's Muldooney.
Yeah, well, who are you that don't know who knows who's Muldooney?
Who knows who? Who knows? Maybe I'm Mike Spanner.
Yeah, maybe you're a liar.
Maybe I'm not.
Maybe you are.
Maybe you're in the wrong apartment.
You mean you're not Gloria Weisborden?
No.
Well, why didn't you tell me? I needn't have put on this silly accent.
It's late and I've had a hard day, so I go to bed. When I'm asleep, the phone goes. I don't miss it till next morning. When I wake up, I shave, I dress, I take a shower, I get my clothes wet. Blast. I walk 2 blocks down to Nick's Diner, but on my way, a black sedan swoops up to the curb and 2 guys jump me and bundle me into the back seat. I just laugh. Ha ha. I just love that joke about beating the egg. Then we drive uptown to Beulah Hills, the smart area of town. Then the little guy with the ferret eyes produces a .38. His pal produces a .45. I produce a straight pontoon and win the hand.
Take it easy, Spanner. Mr. Muldooney wants to see you at all one piece, so take it nice and easy, Spanner.
Say, who is this guy, Muldooney?
You'll find out, Buster. You'll find out. You will find out. You will, Buster. Make no mistake about that. You will find out. Oh, yes. You'll find out, brother. You'll find out, all right. That's what you'll find out, brother.
It figures.
This is where you get out, so move, Seamus. Wait here till Mr. Muldooney arrives, and when he comes, brother, I wouldn't like to be in your shoes.
Why not?
I prefer a wider fitting.
As soon as they're gone, I start to search the house. I'm in the kitchen when I hear somebody coming. I spring through a door and freeze. I'm in the refrigerator. I spring out again.
Hello, Mr. Spanner.
Mellifluous Schwarzkopf!
Yeah, and this is Mr. Muldooney.
Say, what's a beautiful girl like you doing in a crummy setup like this?
Please don't try anything foolish. This gun is pointing directly at your head.
Hold it right there, Muldooney. Don't move or you get it in the chest.
Don't do anything silly, Miss Schwarzkopf, or Spanner gets a belly full of lead.
Hold it, Muldooney, or Miss Schwarzkopf takes the first shot in the head.
Keep still, Spanner, or Muldooney eats hot lead.
Stay where you are, both of you, or I shoot myself in the guts. No, wait a minute.
Okay, Muldooney, talk.
Well, it's like this, Spanner. I sent the guys to warn you off because I knew you'd get curious. And eventually I'd get you up here for a very good reason.
What for?
To tell you something.
What?
Steer clear of the O'Rafferty case, Spanner. And now here is an announcement of special interest to name droppers. In this recording of I'm Sorry, I'll Read That Again, which was written by Graham Garden, Les Lilly and Chick Jacob, Johnny Mortimer and Brian Cook and Bill Oddie, you heard Tim Brooke Taylor, Graham Garden, David Hatch, Joe Kendall and Bill Oddie, with the music of Dave Lee. The songs were specially written and sung by Bill Oddie, who was joined by guest singer Gene Hart, and the show was produced by Humphrey Barclay. If you've only just switched on, tune in half an hour earlier next week for another edition of I'm Sorry, I'll Read That Again. And now the next program will follow in approximately 30 minutes. So until then, here is an interlude.
This is I'm Sorry, I'll Read That Again, a half-hour interlude specially written to fill this gap, featuring a special team of BBC gap fillers.
Schmurtotjak Proxil. Here again is our friend Pranksel, and of course Kolchas, Fafnir, and S-Class too, with this week's lesson.
Schmurtotjak Proxil. This week,
Golchas and Fafnir are in a restaurant. See if you can understand what they are saying.
Today, Fafnir and I are in a restaurant.
Did you understand that? Good. Now listen to what they are saying.
Smurtot eat helg, garod smurtot eat flash dieselbog.
Flash Dieselbogel.
Did you notice how Golchas said garod
Garod,
instead of quadmort
quadmurt,
when he was asking Fafnir to decide? That is because Golchas and Fafnir come from different villages in Proxel. If they came from the same village, he would have said quadmort.
quadmurt,
If they came from the same family,
family.
Fafnir, because he is the hairier of the two, would have been asking Golchas to decide, and he would have said,
Smurturtle Eatle Helga, Quadmortal Smurturtle Eatle, Flash Dieselbogel.
Are you noticing how Fafnir adds an L sound to every word he says? That is because he has a speech impediment. Let's listen. They are deciding on dessert.
Smurtot eat rudelplash, garod smurtot eat rudelplash upklaftismut slagom farawek ice cream.
Abklaf Tischmet Schlagom for the Weckel ice cream.
Did you notice that word abklapt is merchlagom farawek? Yes, it means with. In Proxel, the word with is a compactive, multidiplastic, reversible preposition which alters simultaneously with the case, tense, number, gender, blood type, and barometric pressure of the preceding and succeeding nouns. Just as the word for off, our old friend
Propsnagdaloople,
remember? Turns back to front when you are talking to your mother, and inside out when you're beaten up by the secret police.
For example, if I were to say that I was going with Fafnir to the cinema, I would say, Jazel, Schmeltetrask, Jelk Abluvum, Fafnir, Woak, Cinema.
But if Fafnir were to say that he was going with Golchas to the cinema, he would say,
Jatzel Schmeltrassel Loom Abklaf Jegel, my fair lady, Abklaf Tismet Schlagom for the Weck nudes in the snow.
The stem, of course, is abklaf.
No, nudes in the snow.
Also, notice how many words for modern technological processes introduced from the West are the same in Proxel as they are in English. Omnibus,
Omnibus,
railway,
railway,
cinema,
cinema,
ice cream,
ice cream.
secret police.
Where?
But here comes Elstplast, just back from national service. Elstplast is wearing a false beard because he can't afford a real one. In Proxel, that is a very popular joke. In fact, it's the only joke. How gaily he sings and strums. It's time for our song. Wouldn't you like to join in?
Mastroja skabolem flas, mastroja skabolem, kabolem ja garad mastro, mastroja skabolem. Kraft is mercegom farwek, mastroja skabolem, kabolem ja garad mastro.
And remember, it's Garod, not Quadmort, because we're all from different villages in Proxel. Golchas, Fafnir, Elstplas, and me, Pranskul Troshkult, wishing you good night until next week when...
Schmurtot jaks Proxel.
Mastroja skabolem.
Hey!
Hello, Charlie. Fancy meeting you. How are you then, eh?
Oh, very well, thanks, Fred, very well. when you consider everyone else. What are you doing here in Whitehall then, Fred?
Here in Whitehall?
You'll never believe this, you won't.
I'm waiting here for a herd of bison.
Oh, I see.
Oh? Is that all, oh?
Well, your word's good enough for me, Fred.
But don't you want to know why?
No.
I'll tell you. I met this insurance bloke, see, and I, Charlie, have insured myself with the Sun and Moon Mutual for 50,000 quid against getting run over by a herd of bison in Whitehall.
Only in Whitehall?
Whitehall only. So here I am in Whitehall waiting.
Well, not Kew Gardens or anywhere?
No, Whitehall. So here I am waiting.
For a herd of bison?
That's right, Charlie. I feel covered, Charlie, you know.
Oh, yes, but I'm a realist, Fred.
Hey, you know my friend Lofty?
No?
They offered him a policy for his missus. They said that if she lost the third finger of her left hand in the sandwich machine, and it was never recovered on account of her being in all those sandwiches, see?
Oh, yeah?
They would replace her wedding ring free of charge. Oh. Fantastic.
Well, I'd tell him what to do with that.
That's just what Lofty did. Raised his two fingers in scorn, he did.
Oh, quite right, yeah.
But no. You know how tall he is. With his fingers up in the air like that, he just touched the tramwires and... That's right. His fingers just melted, just like that.
Was he insured himself, then?
Of course he was.
And they paid up?
No. Act to God, they said, him being so tall, so they didn't have to pay.
Typical, Fred. Typical.
But there's no small print on my policy, Charlie, I'll tell you that.
What's that noise, Fred?
Charlie, it sounds like the beat of many hooves.
I'm a realist, Fred, but it does.
Charlie, do you think could it be at last?
There's something coming down Whitehall, all right?
Yeah, look, they knocked over the statue of Haig.
It's animals, all right?
Here they come, Charlie, it is. It's bisons.
Come away, Fred, come away, Fred. You're a fool, you don't want to die.
Leave me, Charlie, I will stand here in the middle of the road. This is fate.
No, it's madness, madness.
The policy, I'll stand on this zebra crossing to prove I'm in the right.
I'm a realist, I'll get in this Metropolitan horse trough when it's safe.
Here they come then. Hi, here, boys, here.
Goodbye, Fred.
But then I'm insured. Rotten so-and-sos. When will I get another chance like that? All turned aside and went for that horse trough. Smelt water, I wouldn't know. Hey, Charlie. Charlie? Oh, poor old boy, and he wasn't even... Wait. My foot, it's crushed. I'm incapacitated, I am. Here, copper, look at my foot, will you? That's a nasty mess, sir.
Really nasty, really nasty. Look at it,
Yes,
it's
really
really
nasty.
nasty.
Nasty mess, yes.
Witness it, would you?
Yes.
That herd of bison did it, that's how it happened.
Bison, sir? Bison? I saw no bison.
No bison? Then what was that just came thundering past, straight up Whitehall?
Lord love you, sir, they weren't bison. Them was buffaloes. My sweetheart has gone on a journey. She's going so far away. So many troubles could befall her. So please hear me when I pray. Don't let it rain on my baby. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't let her get damp today. If she does, when she's old, she'll get covered with mold. And then she'll start rotting away. This I pray, hey, don't let it snow on my honey. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't let it be icy weather. Oh, no. She can cover her knees with the best antifreeze, but still they'll get frozen together. Ho, 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 dear, no, don't let her get wet in the snow, 'cause then I think that my little darling would shrink. Don't let the sun shine on my gal. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't let the sun try to dry your girl has to go on a journey, don't make my mistake and let her go out there exposed to the elements. Oh, no, 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 no. Just wrap her in a brown paper parcel and send her by post, just to show you really care. Oh, yes. Well, then, won't you hear my prayer? Don't let it rain on my baby. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't let her get washed down the drain. And she's ever so frail, so don't let it hail. And if it does, let the stones be small, and try to miss her when you let them fall. And please, oh, most of all, don't let it rain. Don't let it rain on my baby. Don't let it rain, not on my little baby. Please don't let it rain on my baby. No, no, no. Don't let it rain. Don't let it rain. Please.
You know, doing a show of this sort, one comes to realize how much a studio audience can add to the success of a script. And we thought that this kind of atmosphere might do a great deal towards brightening up some of the duller broadcasts. For instance,
This is the BBC Home Service. Here is the news. Betsy, the 6-month-old puppy, which fell down a pit shaft, was today rescued. Her rescuer received a reward of £5,000. Today in the House of Commons, the Chancellor of the Exchequer stated that he didn't think that taxation was high, but that some increases would have to be made. The opposition are to fight this measure. The striking London dockers voted today to return to work. That's funny. I got a laugh at 9:30. Oh, well, that's showbiz. The weather for the next few days will be fine. Thank heavens for the Met Office. And that is the end of the news. Phew, not a bad audience. This evening we bring you a story of man's beginning. A story which will grip and excite you as we draw back the shroud enveloping prehistory's primeval savagery. In a dark, fertile pool, warmed by the newborn earth, the first amoeba quickened into life. Thank you. Then Darwin evolved and invented evolution. This culminated, as we know, in man's crowning achievement. Man. Man standing erect and proud.
Oh, let's sit down, Cosmo. My legs ache. It's all this standing erect and proud that does it, isn't it?
No, it's our vast brains weighing us down. Here, talking of brains, thingy.
Yes?
Have you ever looked at a pterodactyl flying about and had a good old wonder?
No, I'm not much of a one for wondering, you know. I mean, you've seen one pterodactyl, you've seen them all, haven't you, really?
Yeah, that's your trouble, thingy. You're not wonderful enough.
You know?
I mean, when you see a pterodactyl flying about, don't you ever think about them?
Oh, yes, I think when their wings get tired, they're going to fall out the sky and hit their heads, aren't they?
Granted. But think of the easy way they get about. Now, they're just down here, waddling about on our little airy legs. But they just flap their wings and they're off. Flappity-flap.
Flappity-flap, flappity-flap, flappity-flap.
Makes you feel such a fool, doesn't it?
Does it?
Anyway, I'll tell you something. I am going to fly, too.
No.
I shall jump off a cliff, flap my arms and away.
Flappity flap?
Yeah. Scares you, doesn't it?
No, it's not me that's jumping.
Well, I'm going to. I shall soar up into the sky and make you look pretty silly. Then again, I might crash onto the rocks below and knock my belly off. That'd make me look pretty silly. No, I've just had a better idea. We could catch up a pterodactyl and train it to carry us about on its back.
You're mad. You're
No, I'm
mad.
not.
You'll
I'm
start
not. I'm
running
not.
mad.
Listen,
You're bloody
listen,
mad. You're
listen.
mad. You're mad.
I shall impose my superior intellect on its tiny mind.
How? How?
Bash it over the head.
Ah, neat. That's more like it. Oh, you're clever, aren't you? Are you clever?
And all we need to start things off is to catch one.
Now, how are we going to do that? We had enough trouble overpowering that slug the other day.
Ah, but this time I have a plan.
Ah.
You know when you see a pterodactyl land,
Yes?
and he's a long way away,
Huh?
he looks small, doesn't he?
Yeah, why is that?
Thermodynamics. Anyway, instead of trying to catch a big pterodactyl when he's near us, we'll grab one when he's a long way away and small. We'll run over and grab him before he has a chance to get big again, you see?
Hey. By the time we get over there, we'll be small as well.
This other idea of mine is to go back to my original idea. Human flying. Now, come on, just be natural and jump off this cliff, will you?
No. You be natural. I'll just sit here and count me fleas.
Look, if we could fly, Thingy, you'd be able to drop things on your mother-in-law.
Right, I'll do it. Oh, now here's a good place to jump from.
We are not jumping off a molehill. We are jumping off this cliff.
With that river there?
It's all right. Now, when I say jump, we jump, right? Now, keep calm and flap your arms.
Flappity flap.
Now, I'll give you a countdown. Do you know any numbers?
1.
Right. 1 to be ready, 1 to be steady, and 1 to be off.
Flappity flap. Hey, it works. It's good, isn't it?
Very rewarding.
Mind you, we're only flying downwards, aren't we?
True. Still, it's a start, isn't it? Now, about learning to swim.
Well, if it isn't you, David.
Well, if it isn't you, Tim.
Well, if it isn't either of us, then we're wasting our time.
Oh, well, here comes Graham. Zippity-doo-dah, Graham.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was undone.
I say, Graham, what are you doing here?
Well, this is the place I usually meet that filthy old busker.
Sure.
Ah, there he is now. Now, just watch this. He'll give us a song if we hit him hard enough.
Hey, I'm not singing today, sir.
You're not?
No. I'm waiting for a London bus.
What, a London bus?
Yes, a London bus.
But we're all waiting for a London bus.
Is that better than the railways?
Sure.
There aren't any railways anymore.
Busker, there's one thing I don't know.
Yes, David.
Where does this bus go?
What, the London bus?
Yeah, the London bus.
Oh, well, the London bus, you go to Acton Town.
All God's children on the London bus.
Where you gonna stand up when you wanna sit down?
Hallelujah on the London bus.
Well, all you need is a family fan.
Playing it on the London bus.
And the good conductor gonna get you there.
Pick a better cotton on the London bus. Traveling on the London, traveling on the London bus. Traveling on the London, traveling on the bus.
Well, you leave the terminus close on 9.
Making it is on the London bus.
And there ain't no sinners on this line.
Gotta get to heaven on the London bus.
Why come along and you're happy man?
Mama's gonna baby on the London bus.
And we're all going to the glory land.
Everybody on the London bus. Traveling on the London, traveling on the London bus. Traveling on the London, traveling on the bus.
What do you understand?
Yeah.
And will you take my hand?
Yeah.
And will you join the band?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, I'm going home.
We're going home.
Yeah, I'm going home.
We're going home.
Yeah, I'm going home. Right down to you. I'm going home.
We're going home.
I'm going home. We're going home.
We're going home.
Yeah, I'm going home.
We're going home.
Everybody going home.
We're going home.
Yeah, I'm going home. Right now.
We're going home.
I'm going home.
We're going home.
Yeah, I'm going home. We're going home.
London bus.
Yeah. Ain't no spitting on the London bus. One more time, we're going home. We're going home. Yeah, going home. We're 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 going home. Yeah, it's going home. We're 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 going home. Going home. Going home.
Oh, when shall I see that land again? Of the desert sun and the jungle rain, where the wombats play in the yam-yam tree, and the bungyung plants wind up your knee. 'Tis my own dear land I long to see.
England. Land of song, where the leprechauns dance to the skirl of the pipes. Oh, England, anyway. If you board a number 23 bus from the whipping post in Aberystwyth and offer the conductor threepence, you'll probably get booted down the stairs. But a small bribe and an hour's walk will bring you within 150 miles of the tiny village of Nibbling on the Bone. Crawl with me across the heath and moorland, quiet and deserted, save for a couple of thousand caravans and a holiday camp. And we descend into this inconspicuous little village, nestling 200 feet below sea level, literally. The valley was flooded 9 years ago to provide a drinking trough for Lord Clumpwit's cart horses. Now, has this affected the people of Nibbling or not? I went down in our outside broadcast submarine to talk to some of the villagers. Here I am, floating over the village churchyard, and I've just moored my microphone on the church steeple. Below me, life seems to go on relatively unchanged. The villagers are swimming up and down the main street, carrying their newspapers, shopping bags, and 300-weight oxygen tanks. It's amazing how nature finds a way to deal with problems like this. I'm just going to turn over this stone and see if there's anyone underneath.
Do you mind?
I'm sorry to disturb you. I wonder, could you tell us, do you think you've changed in any way to adapt to underwater life?
No, not at all, not at all.
Now, I don't wish to contradict you, but I do notice you're wearing a pair of yellow gloves.
Yes, yes.
And 2 pairs of red gloves, and 1 pair of brown gloves.
Yes, well, it gets cold down here.
Yes, well, that's 4 pairs, which means you've got 8 arms.
Thank the Lord, yes.
Well, I've only got 2.
Oh, I am sorry. How did it happen?
I was born that way.
Oh, nature is sometimes cruel.
Indeed. Tell me, in what trade do you employ your 8 arms?
I'm a beat group. And in my spare time, I also repair broken electric lights.
And do you do that successfully?
Well, you know the saying, many hands make light work.
So I shook him warmly by the tentacle and came up for air, and I continued my journey northwards by hovercraft and wheelchair. Then an hour's ride on a tricycle brought me out in a terrible rash and to the thriving town of Wanton Harlot. Here now is a busy community of shops and houses, but rumour and legend hath it that where there now stands a fine civic centre, there was once a deserted meadow. Archaeologists have been digging down through the floorboards of this council house to investigate. And what have you found?
Absolutely nothing.
Well, goodbye, Wanton Harlot.
Goodbye, Ducky.
And onward to Scotland, where I visited picturesque Loch Jaw. Here where the cabers still grow in the ground, gaily bedecked with leaves and branches, I hailed a passing stranger who picked up a handful of pebbles and hailed me back. I could tell from the hairy knees it was the famous Mrs. Killjoy. She had a flaming red beard which I put out with a bucket of water. Mrs. Killjoy is a mother of 10. Now, isn't that rather young to be a mother?
Well, actually, it's an exaggeration.
Yes?
I'm really only 8.
I see. Well, Mrs. Killjoy, can you tell us what you're doing here?
Ah, yes. I often wonder what indeed. I often ask myself, what indeed? Why did the Lord put me on this earth? All of us, you, me, there must be a purpose. What is the eternal mystery of life, and why am I here? Why did the good Lord put me here? What am I doing on this earth? Tell me, why?
No, I'll rephrase the question. Can you tell us here your what doing?
I'm curing herrings.
Oh, what's wrong with them?
They've got tonsillitis.
Mrs. Killjoy, forgive me for being personal, but what's that in your buttonhole?
A button?
No, the other one.
Oh, that. Well, you see, it's Scots Pine Day. We celebrate this day any foggy third Sunday in July every 2,000 years, if it's leap year.
And why Scots Pine Day?
Well, exactly 283 years ago, come next Easter, Robbie Burns...
Not the Robbie Burns!
No, Miss Robbie Burns burnt the cakes and with them Bonnie Prince Charlie's recipe for royal haggis, which is Scotland's favourite dish.
You must have all been very upset.
Indeed, that's why the Scots pine.
I see. And so for 7.5 years, I joined the villagers at their merrymaking, and I experienced their quaint old customs.
Good afternoon, sir. Have you anything to declare?
I also met one of the elders, Mr. Berry, and took a pagan rite. But I countered with a vicious uppercut to his chin, which made elderberry wine. Afterwards, I went to a sheepdog trial. He got 6 months for molesting sheep. Next week, I shall be visiting Donegal and telling you more about England, our England.
This recording of I'm Sorry I'll Read That Again, an interlude designed on the spur of the moment to fill this gap, was written by John Esmond and Bob Larby, Clive James, Bill Oddie, Peter Vincent and David McKellar. The parts were played as follows. Herod the Great, Tim Brooke Taylor. Herod the Small, Graham Garden. Aphrodite, David Hatch. Salome, Joe Kendall.
We'll draw a veil over that.
And A Plague of Boils, Bill Oddie.
That boy'll go far.
The songs were specially written by Bill Oddie with Tim Brooke Taylor, and the music was provided by Dave Lee. I'm Sorry I'll Read That Again is produced by Humphrey Barclay. And now, here is the long-range weather forecast for the next half hour. A ridge of high hysteria, moving north, south, east and west from London, will dispel the deep depression now centred over the whole country. It will be mainly funny, with scattered jokes and bright intervals.
This is I'm Sorry I'll Read That Again, a half-hour topical heatwave written by several little rays of sunshine and featuring a number of showers. Time now for another look at the wonders of the countryside with our roving naturalist, Lydia Picnic Basket.
Hello.
Hello, nature lovers everywhere. Well, once again, I've been out and about, peeking and prying into the secrets of Dame Nature, and here I am again to tell you all about what I've been up to with my tape recorder. This morning, I was awoken by the sunlight streaming through the chintzy curtains in my bedroom. So I sprang out of bed, slipped on an old pair of jodhpurs, and fell flat on my face. I dressed, drank my morning cup of tea, and then I was off. Tea always has that effect on me. As I stepped out of my little cottage into the clean morning, I looked up and spotted a tiny house martin nesting in the eaves. Then he spotted me. So, wiping my eye, I set off on my jaunt. Then I changed my mind and set off on my bicycle. The air was full of birdsong. High overhead, the orange-breasted curlew was greeting the new day with his joyful cry. In the hedgerow, the drab Winterton's wren, smallest of British birds, squatted in an empty thimble, adding his plaintive cry to the sounds of the wakening countryside. And from a nearby clump of reeds came the unmistakable deep-throated boom of the greater hairy bittern. Pausing only to oil my tape recorder, I continued on my way. As I crossed the field of golden corn, turning its shining face to the morning sun, I seemed to hear a voice calling.
Get out of my ready cornfield, you old bat!
At last I reached a little lane. At the roadside, I found a tiny clump of primroses forcing their way up through the hard earth. As I stooped to pick a few of the tiny blossoms, my attention was suddenly caught by an old farm labourer with a pitchfork standing behind me. I engaged him in conversation, and he was most forthcoming, till I told him I had a boyfriend in the Navy. But before he left, he came out with one of those deliciously acute pieces of rustic philosophy.
My old granny used to say, if it do rain for 30 days in the merry month of May, then it's practically June. Very boring old woman, my granny.
As I continued on my way down the lane, I passed the farmer driving his cows to market, 2 in the back seat and 1 in the front. But it was time for me to return, and so I retraced my steps, thinking how much there was to be learned from Dame Nature and her ways. Next week, I shall be telling you how to bring up a Jersey cow, for those of you who've been stupid enough to swallow one.
Let there be me. Let there be oysters way under the sea. Let there be wind and occasional rain. Chili con carne and sparkling champagne. Let there be birds to sing in the trees. Someone to bless me whenever I sneeze. Let there be A lark and a dove. But first of all, please be quiet. Please, shut up! You've ruined my song. I shall never sing again. Not ever. Don't ask me. I shall never sing again.
Once again, we invite you to come back with us into the backwoods of prehistory. Back through the pages of the ages. Back to a golden era of primeval innocence and naivety.
Cosmo, Cosmo, you've got to help me. I've just had a terrifying experience with a peculiar man.
Well, what was he like, Thingy?
Well, he was smaller than we are, and he had a high voice, and his whole body was sort of in and out and round and round. What sort of man is that, Cosmo?
Oh dear, that's not a man at all.
No?
That's a woo man. They're called she's.
Ah, Cosmo, what is a woo man?
Well, how old are you?
2.
All right then. If you're 2 inches old, you're old enough to know. A woo man is a person, like a man, only they have babies.
They do what?
They have babies.
What you said? That's what you said.
And what's more, they're lovely and horrible at the same time.
Cosmo, tell me, what are they for, pray?
I told you, having babies.
Cosmo, there's something you're not telling me, Cosmo, isn't there? Cosmo, why are you smiling at yourself like that? Cosmo, why?
Eh? Oh, well, I wasn't actually smiling, Thingy. My face just slipped, that's all. No, there is one other thing that women are for.
I know. They're good at slug catching, aren't they?
No. They have the power to make men ill. They've given this horrible illness called love.
So that's what that woman was trying to do to me, eh?
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, when I think of it, it was just horrible. Really horrible it was. She got me on the ground.
Good heavens.
And she kept doing things to my
Oh,
mouth.
oh, no.
I thought at first she was trying to eat me. And I struggled, and we rolled about. And she kept doing things to me, and I was frightened, really frightened. And I was wrong about terrifying experience, because when I come to think of it, it was smashing.
Now look, Thingy, that was just for the moment. But now you're ill. You have caught love.
Oh, dear. Is love like when I had ingrowing toenails?
Oh, virtually, yes. Only this is ingrowing toenails of the mind.
I had a mind.
When you're suffering from love, you do some very funny things.
What?
Well, for instance, you pick flowers. And instead of eating them like any normal person, you give them to this woo man.
Good heavens. And she eats them?
No, that's a funny thing about it. She'll just say, "Oh, you shouldn't have."
Oh, I see. Well, I won't offer her the flowers in the first place, then.
Oh, that's just it. You won't be able to help yourself. Because you've caught love.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't even mentioned the most horrible symptoms.
What's that?
Like showing off.
Oh, no.
And agreeing with everything she says.
Oh, that's awful.
And worst of all, your inner Thingy saying, "Get her down and roll about. Get her down and roll about."
Yes, that's right. Get her down.
Thingy, control. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Cosmo. I'm really very, very ill, aren't I? Very ill indeed. Yes.
Very ill.
Really ill.
But I've thought of a way of saving you.
Oh, Cosmo, thank you.
Thingy, you mustn't see this woman again.
No.
I will see her in your place.
Oh, Tar.
I will catch her, love, instead of you. I know, Thingy, you must think I'm very noble.
And you must think I am very stupid.
Now, Thingy, I've always told you that when you come across one of life's little mysteries, you mustn't run away. You must advance.
So?
So I'm nobly going out to make advances to that little mystery.
Yeah, you selfish devil. Well, ask her if she's got a sister.
Dear sir, it is very sad that the wonderful traditions of the British Navy have passed away. I'd like to see the newest nuclear submarines, one with all the colour and gaiety of the old seafarers. Yours heartily, Cabin Boy Ponsonby Crump, RN retired.
These traditions are not dead. Only last week, Admiral Hook, now 90 years old and only half a fathom high, paid an official visit to our brand new nuclear submarine, HMS Dreadful.
Right, lads, here he comes. Now, don't forget to humour him. Gerald, pipe him aboard. Have you got your pipe?
I'll never smoke one, love.
Never mind. Good morning, Admiral. Welcome aboard to B-12, 6,000 megaton Type M7, pi r squared, nuclear submarine. So,
Thank ye, lad. Shiver my timbers, 'tis a fine craft to be sure and all. Jim, lad.
that's very kind of you to say so.
And where's the flag, me beauty?
Flag, sir?
The skull and crossbones, me bonny boy. Run it up, lad, or I'll feed ye to the sharks. Shiver me timbers.
I'm afraid we don't show a flag on a submarine, sir. It would get wet when we dive.
You scurvy dog, where's me cutlass? I'll keel Hawley, no less. I'll make ye walk the plank. I'll have ye flogged.
Excuse me, surely you mean you'll have him flogged?
I'll have him flogged too. I'll clap ye in irons, pieces of 8, Jim, lad.
I beg your pardon, sir?
I said, Jim, lad.
I'm afraid Jim retired some years back, sir.
No matter. Right, lads, we'll plumb the foamy depths, and then we'll sing a song of the sea. Right ho, me bully boys, scupper the mainsails and rupture your tonsils. Yo-ho, ho!
Engage number 4 reactor, close airlock, retract automatic alpha pin, 3 degrees, roger, yo-ho-ho.
Splice the atom, yo-ho-ho. Let's hear ye sing.
Depress valve X3, relieve dive switch 402, 4 degrees, roger, yo-ho-ho.
Man the generator. And dive, 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 roger, lad. Ha-ha, yo-ho-ho. Give us a shanty, Captain, me boy.
Oh, you should be at the bottom of the sea. Yo-ho-ho, and a dry martini. Nuclear life is the life for me. We're up an atom. A sailor's life is my ambition. Hunting, shooting, and nuclear fission. Dive to the bottom, boys, and swap out a pile. Yo-ho-ho, and a dry martini. Yo-ho-ho, and a dry martini. You should see the things we've seen. Down at the bottom in a submarine. We thought we saw a mermaid, but we really couldn't tell, for she had the tail of a fish, me boys, and the head of a fish as well. Oh, yo, hey, and down she rises, way, hey, and down she rises. You should see the things we've seen. Down at the bottom in a submarine. The crew is always quarreling. It's bound to be that way. 'Cause in a nuclear submarine, we fall out every day. Think about it. Yo-ho, and a dry martini. Yo-ho-ho, and a dry martini. You should see the things we've seen. Down at the bottom in a submarine. Down at the bottom in a submarine.
In our opinion, the next part of our program is unsuitable for children and those of a nervous disposition. So if you'd like to switch off your radios, we'll let you know when you can turn them on again.
Look, that's not possible, surely. It's not...
It was a joke.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And now we present the most horrifying science fiction story ever broadcast. Dr. Y and the Thing.
name is Giuseppe Hieronymus, Faith Gloverton wearing, mainspring Phipps Pims. And I have nothing to do with the story.
But my name is Peter Pott, and I have. The adventure I'm about to describe is so vivid in my memory that it seems it happened only yesterday. In fact, it all began this morning, when I received an urgent message from my old friend, Dr. Y.
Doctor who?
No, Dr. Y.
What?
No, Y.
I don't know why.
Oh, all right, Dr. Smith. Pausing only to pack a small suitcase into a large suitcase, I hurried away to catch the bus. I wanted a number 14, but couldn't find one, so I caught 2 7s instead. Dr. Smith lived in a rambling country house, and in it he had rambled all over the country. When I arrived, the door was open, so I let myself in.
Why?
I don't know.
Ah, I didn't think you knew what you let yourself in for.
That is so unfunny. That is fantastically unfunny. Anyway, in the hall I found the doctor's faithful old manservant, Quasimodo, picking his nose.
Now, let's see. I think I'll wear this one today.
Good morning, Quasimodo. Is the doctor in?
Oh, yes, he's in the greenhouse feeding the dog to the geraniums. But here he comes now.
Hello, Doctor. I got your note and came at once.
Oh, yes, dear boy. I must say you're looking in the pink.
Well, I didn't have time to dress, you see.
Never mind, never mind. Come into my laboratory. I've something to show you.
Gosh! What's that?
It's a little invention of mine. I've modified the hovercraft and made it 100% more efficient.
How?
I've added wheels. But this is what I want you to see. The time machine. With this, I am going to send you forwards in time to the year 3000 A.D.
Me? But, gosh, I mean, I haven't brought a toothbrush.
And you'll just have to leave your teeth behind.
No, but who'll look after my poor, bedridden, grey-headed old budgie?
Oh, very well, very well. If you won't go, you won't.
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Sorry? What do you care? What does anybody care? But I'll show them. I'll show them. They laughed at Galileo. They laughed at Newton. They laughed at Einstein. Why won't they laugh at me?
Well, it's partly the lines, but mostly the delivery, actually.
Excuse me, Doctor. There's a Colonel Catamole wants to see you. I can't imagine why, unless he wants a bit of a laugh.
That's enough of that. That's enough of that, Quasimodo. You remember your place, or it's chips for you. Place, chips, that's rather good.
That is so unfunny. That is fantastically unfunny.
This way, Colonel.
Now, look here, Doctor. I've been sent down by the War Office. Keep an eye on this experiment of yours, you know? A lot of nonsense, if you ask me. Time travel. Rubbish.
What you need, Colonel, is the eye of faith.
Eye of faith?
Yes, it comes between the A and the T.
That is so
Watch it, Quasimodo, watch it.
I say, Doctor, why don't you give the Colonel a demonstration?
What a splendid idea. My granddaughter Prudence has a pet rat, and we can send it forward through time.
Hello, Grandpa. I've been playing Cowboys and Indians with Jimmy from next door, but he's run away with all the arrows in his back. It was ever such fun.
Prudence, we'd like to use your pet rat for an experiment, so run and fetch him.
I've got him here. Look.
What an extraordinary place to keep a rat.
His name's Anselmo. Isn't he nice? Say hello, Anselmo. He's a nice rat. I like rats. Do you like rats?
What a revolting-looking beast.
Yes, isn't she? But it's the rat. It's the rat that interests us. I'll just put it in the time machine.
Gosh, isn't this exciting, Grandpa? It's just like one of those stories on TV.
That's the general idea.
Gosh, this is exciting. I am excited. Aren't you all excited? I am. I'm ever so excited. I think I'm going to be sick.
Now run along, Prudence, and put on a clean frock for lunch.
All right. Do you want it boiled or fried?
Get out. Get out. Now, Quasimodo, start the time machine.
The time machine has disappeared.
Yes. Yes. It's gone forward in time to the year 3000 AD.
But this dial says it's 100 million BC.
What? But this means we've sent it back to the dawn of time, before life began. Who knows what terrible thing may come back in that time machine? Who knows what nameless horror we may have unleashed on an unsuspecting world? Do you realize what this means?
It looks as if you made one of your silly mistakes.
But we must bring it back at once.
With one stride, the doctor crossed the room to the controls. He threw a switch which hit me on the nose. Slowly, the time machine began to materialize, and then the door opened and something crawled out. It was horrible. A monstrous, slimy, pulsating mass about 12.5 feet long, with burning, malevolent eyes and 1,000 questing tentacles, slithered onto the floor. Undulant ripples coursed its hideous bulk as it heaved itself, covered in a matted coat of tangled fronds towards us. It was indescribable.
Never mind, you had a good try.
It's heading for the door. It mustn't get away. Stop it! Stop it! For heaven's sake, stop it!
I wasn't doing anything.
Too late. It's gone.
All right, I admit it. I did it. I, Quasimodo, altered the dial. But this, I never expected this. What have I done? What have I done?
I think you've turned over 2 pages at once.
I'm terribly sorry.
We decided that decisive action must be taken. The Colonel left the room saying he was going to the lavatory. Though we knew, in fact, he was going to make a phone call. Suddenly.
May I come in?
Who are you?
I'm Mirabelle Corsfarthing of the West Crawley Afternoon Times and Advertiser, incorporating the Pig Breeders Weekly.
The Pig Breeders Weekly what?
Cheeky boy. Now, let's have the facts. What I'm after is some human interest.
Well, you don't interest me, Ducky, I can tell you.
Let's join the Colonel. He should be able to fill you in.
With a bit of luck.
Ah, there you all are. I've been on to Whitehall, and I've got the Chief of Staff on the phone.
Wouldn't he be more comfortable on a chair?
Thank you very much. That's much better. Now, we must stop this story leaking out. So all communications will be sent in waterproof envelopes.
I'm afraid I don't follow.
Pity, we needed something to follow that.
Do you know the whereabouts of this thing?
No, we're combing the countryside, and if that doesn't work, we'll brush it as well. The police are investigating, of course. They did find a lead, but when they followed it up, there was only a police dog at the other end. Now, I must get back to Whitehall. I'm a busy man. I have a whole pile of sandwiches to get through. Goodbye.
I must phone my story to the paper.
The effect of Miss Corsfarthing's article was to spread alarm and despondency over the length and breadth of the country, and up to a height of 30 feet above sea level. Meanwhile, we could do nothing but wait.
Hello? What? Great heavens! Goodbye. The thing has just been seen entering the BBC television centre.
Crumbs! If it gets loose in there, it could destroy the whole place.
This is no time for wishful thinking.
Yes.
We must get out there right away.
As we all sped towards our destination at breakneck speed and without a thought for our own safety, for it was only a small bicycle, little did we know what was happening in a studio deep in the heart of the television centre.
It was awful.
What was?
That bicycle gag.
You're right. Meanwhile, in the heart of the TV centre.
All right, Mr. Dimbleby, on the air in 5 seconds, so good luck and watch your language.
Wait a minute! What's that up there, crawling along the gallery?
Oh,
And here at the BBC television centre, all eyes are turned towards the gallery as we catch our first glimpse of the thing crawling slowly, almost majestically down to the floor. There is a great sense of occasion here as the thing, leering radiantly, moves through the crowd and oh, what a lovely gesture, throws its tentacles round the studio manager. And now the thing, pausing to acknowledge the gestures of the crowd, moves towards the exit, gaily waving the studio manager in the air.
Oh, let me down!
The studio manager is wearing corduroy trousers with a pale pink shirt and a terrified expression.
It was at that moment that we arrived.
Where's the thing now, Sergeant?
It's coming out now, sir.
There it goes!
Order your men to open fire.
Oh, yes, nothing like a nice open fire, sir.
No. Shoot, you fool! Shoot!
The bullets are just bouncing off it.
Doctor, think of something. No, not that. Some way of destroying the monster.
I know. I will speak to it.
What? You must be mad.
No, I am responsible. I must do what I can.
And so, alone and unarmed, Dr. Smith walked fearlessly up to the thing and spoke to it, quietly and persuasively. What he said we shall never know, because it ate him. And then, replete, the hideous monster disappeared into the television center, where it was never seen again. Or was it?
You know, the studio audience plays a very important part in a show like this.
Certainly does.
And now, at the end of this program, they are going to help us out by joining in a song. Now, they all seem to be in good voice, and I hope all of you at home will join in too. We'll all sing for He's a Jolly Good Fellow. Are you ready?
Oh, he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us, and so say all of us, and so say all of us. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow.
No, please, stop now, please stop. I can't do a thing with them, David. Come and stop them.
Well, we've all had a jolly good laugh and a jolly good sing. But now it's time, to... Tim.
My mother-in-law, she is so fat that when she walks down the street, she looks like 5 dogs fighting... My mother-in-law, look, will you all please be quiet? Hey, Bill, I can't stop them.
Right, that's enough. Right, stop, Dave, stop the playing.
This has been I'm Sorry, I'll Read It Again, which was written this week by John Esmond and Bob Larby, Graham Garden, David Hatch, Eric Idle, Johnny Mortimer and Brian Cook and Bill Oddie. The performers were Tim Brooke Taylor, Graham Garden, David Hatch, Joe Kendall and Bill Oddie. The music was provided by Dave Lee, and the show was produced by Humphrey Barclay. What do you know about the BBC? About its beginnings, its origins and lemons? About its lighter side and how it has catered for the national sense of humour in the last 40 years by giving us something really solid to laugh at. Yes, the BBC. We present a history of radio light entertainment, a frank, hard-hitting, no-punches-pulled investigation into how the BBC has developed and how jolly satisfied we all are with it. But first, a few lesser-known facts and figures.
Did you know that 3 out of 5 Chinamen leaves 2?
And now some facts and figures about radio.
Did you know that in 1964, the BBC broadcast 1 hour a day per head of the population, or to put it another way, half an hour per foot?
What is the average size of a radio audience?
About 5'7".
How many people work in Broadcasting House?
About half.
That is so old.
So are the people who work in broadcasting. Who is the man at the top of the BBC?
I don't know, but I think he's going to jump.
How many outside broadcasts did the BBC produce in 1962?
Afraid I don't know. Ask me another.
What is the signature tune of I'm Sorry, I'll Read That Again?
Oh, that's easy. It goes...
This is I'm Sorry, I'll Read That Again. And in this final program of the present series, we'll be trying to answer some of your questions about radio.
When's it finishing?
Oh, shut up.
The story of radio begins long ago. So come back with me into the dark recesses of remembered time.
Oh, tricky thing.
Here we go again. It was not until the beginning of this century that the dream of wireless communication became a reality, when people first managed to get sounds out of a cat's whiskers. So, let's turn back the clock. And consider the person who had so much to do with the birth of radio, the celebrated Marconi. Well, Ma, tell us all about it.
I remember that day in my attic when I discovered the radio. I said, "Hey, Alberto, what's that funny old box in the corner?"
I don't know. Switch it on and see.
I'm worried about Jim.
And so it all began. Since that day, the globe has been ravaged by 2 world wars. Science has progressed by leaps and bounds. Man has walked in space. But in radio, nothing has changed.
I'm still worried about Jim.
In the early days, broadcasting was mainly done by radio hams.
I'm worried about Jim.
But eventually, in a concrete bedroom in East Ham, the whole broadcasting service was conceived.
Hey, fellas, I've just conceived a broadcasting service. I'm not surprised the amount of time you spend with that radio. Hey, what should we call it?
I know. How about the BBC?
What does it stand for?
Very little, I can tell you.
No, the initials.
Oh, I don't know. Bonnie Bouncing Cabbage?
Yes, or Big Bag of Crisps.
I know! British Broadcasting Corporation.
How very dull.
And so a name was chosen, and for 2 years, the Bawdy Boozing Club broadcast 2 programs a week until in 1922 it was granted an official charter, on condition that it changed its name.
On July the 13th, 1922, the British Broadcasting Corporation, as it then was, broadcast this historic message to the nation.
Good evening. Here is the news. Mrs. Dale said earlier today that she was still worried about Jim.
But the British public reacted just as if they hadn't heard, which they hadn't, as nobody had a radio set. Nevertheless, the manufacturers caught on to the new idea, and by September, the BBC had a faithful listening audience of 32. And he listened faithfully till he was over 60. However, it soon became a status symbol to own a radio, and people showed them off like a new car. They cleaned them in the street on Sunday afternoons and put little wheels on to take the children for rides. As more and more people listened to radio, the BBC became more ambitious, and the programme grew and grew until Mrs. Dale's diary was 12.5 hours long. And then, one historic day, the BBC Planning Committee met for the first time.
It's no good. We've just got to have more than one program. Gentlemen. Well, gentlemen, we are obviously divided. The only way to find out is to talk to a typical listener.
You rang, sir?
Well, I may have jangled a little. Now, Fothergill, which program on radio do you like most?
Mrs. Dale's Diary, sir.
Ah, yes, but which program do you dislike most?
Mrs. Dale's Diary.
You see?
Damnation.
And so the controversy raged.
Controversy.
Until a penniless bank clerk hit upon an idea for a brand new program which was to change the whole face of broadcasting.
Hello, Bill. Are you there?
Yes, Jean, I'm here.
I'm here too.
We're both here then.
It's wonderful to hear your voice again.
Is it, Pet?
Yes. It really is super.
Really?
Yes, truly.
Do you miss me, Lamb?
Yes, very much, Squirrel.
Little Lamb misses her big squirrel then.
Bill, don't you think we ought to get on with the programme?
Oh, must we?
Well, I think so.
All right. Well, this is a really bumper bundle. I'll only have time to read a few of them. Corporal Limpy Smith of BAOR 25 requests this for the best girl in the world, Eileen. Private Higgs and Private Mendelbaum of BAOR 43 request it for the best girls in the world, Joyce and Kathleen and Brigadier Harcourt. No, I'm sorry. And Brigadier Harcourt Thompson requests it for Kinky. And lots of others. They all ask for one particular record, so we're not going to play it. But instead, we are going to play a new record that we think contains all those different messages that all of you, wherever you are, so badly want to hear.
Now is the time to say hello or goodbye. Now is the time to laugh with tears in your eye, where the mountains of morn go down to the sea. My Yiddish mama is waiting for me. So now is the time to sing and laugh as you cry. Yes, now is the time. If you're in your 80th year, if not, never you mind. We still can spare you a tear. All you grannies and cousins, both near and far, and all silver weddings in B-A-O-R. Now is the time to sing and laugh as you cry. My dearest darling Jane, it's a hard life in the army, but don't worry, you'll soon be home on leave. Then we'll be together again, and with our friends and neighbors, we'll gather lilacs in a monastery garden. And you'll climb upon my knee, and side by side in the old rocking chair, we'll hum the trumpet voluntary, and we'll dance the anniversary waltz to extracts from the nuns' chorus. And then I'll count the silver threads amongst the gold as hand in hand we jump over the white cliffs of Dover. And then my old Dutch will burst into tears. And remember, my dear, money can't buy you happiness, and they'll always be in England. And oh, don't forget the fruit gums, Mum. Yes. Oh dear. One more time. Here we go. So now is the time to cry a little bit more. And bless this house. There's a welcome here at the door. We will play all our favorite
But a new note was creeping into BBC policy. Entertainment. One programme in particular stood out in the popularity polls. Bottom by miles. The Archers. It was a series about country folk with ordinary people in mind. We spoke to one of the creators.
Yes, well, we decided that what the ordinary people wanted to listen to was ordinary people behaving just like ordinary people. So we sent a chappie to find out what the ordinary people were doing, you see.
And what were they doing?
Listening to the radio. So it wasn't a great success to start with. I mean, it isn't very exciting listening to people listening to the radio and hearing people listening to people on the radio listening to people, is it? On the radio.
So, what did you do?
Well, we snooped around a bit to find out what people were doing when they weren't listening to the radio and based our program on that. So that when people stopped doing whatever it was they were doing, they could turn on the radio and hear people going on doing what they'd just been doing, whatever it was, so they didn't have to do it themselves, you see. That's quite easy, that.
And so, a series grew which mirrored the thoughts and events of national happenings.
But while the Archers remain bitingly relevant on all matters of political and social interest, the BBC has always been at pains to point out that it is in no way connected with the government, and it is certainly not a spokesman for government policies.
Evening, Jack.
Evening, Ned.
It's quiet at the Bull tonight, isn't it, Jack?
Not surprising, considering as how that Labour government has put up the price of beer again. It's about time them there MPs up in Westminster thought more about boring old country folk like ourselves and less about their yachts and fancy women. Leastways, that's how I see it.
No, Jack, that's not fair. Mr. Wilson is a boring old country folk just like you and me, you know. They have to put up the price of beer, you see, so that we buy less, and the excess labour in the beer industry is free to make consumer durables for export to other countries. And this inspires confidence in the pound and allows them to drop the price of beer back to the original again.
I never thought of that.
No, and not many people do. More's the pity, more's the pity.
More people thought about that.
Well, yes, especially at this time of the year.
What time?
Time to renew your television and radio licenses, me old lovely. You wouldn't forget that, would you?
Here comes Walter.
Ah, so we do.
Hello there, Ned, me old pal, me old faggot, me old mangle wurzel.
Now, to what do we owe the honour of this visit, then, Walter, me old fruit?
Well, me old pal, me old beauty, me old faggot. I was a-wondering if you'd seen anything of young Jim.
Not that young lad what drives his car around at such a speed.
Aye, that's the one. Oh. I'm always a-telling him that he must restrict his speed to 25 miles per hour in town and 45 miles per hour maximum on the main road.
I'm always telling him that he must restrict his speed to 25 miles per hour in towns and 45 miles per hour maximum on the main roads as well.
Oh, 'tis an important thing to remember that.
What?
To restrict your speed to 25 miles per hour in town and 45 miles per hour maximum on the main road.
Oh, come to think of it, I did see young Jim a week or two back driving his car through Ambridge at 32 miles an hour.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Walter, what's up then, Walter?
Well, his mother said he didn't come home for his tea for the last 2 weeks, like as what he always does.
Oh no.
I wonder.
I wonder.
But in spite of all this pandering to the public, the BBC is deeply aware of its duties in maintaining standards of good taste. And there is, of course, a BBC committee devoted to censoring things you might enjoy. I'm sorry, I'll read that again. And there is, of course, a BBC committee devoted to censoring. Things you might enjoy can easily be spoiled by lapses of taste, who understand?
Yes, it is our duty to safeguard public morals and to spot the filthy, obscene innuendos concealed in an apparently harmless word or phrase. So we are actually planning to introduce a system whereby doubtful words are substituted by a harmless noise, a sort of auditory asterisk. The same system will apply to music. For instance.
And then he'd way up the river he would. He'd give her, then he'd now and then. She would tell him when he'd around and then they'd again and then he'd. A little further he would. And then he'd drop both his, take a few more encores and then he'd.
In this way, a song which sounds slightly suggestive can quite simply be made to sound absolutely filthy.
But as well as keeping up moral standards, the BBC has always played a great part in keeping up the spirits of the nation in time of stress. And in those darkest hours, between supper time and breakfast, the British people have always been steadied and comforted by the sound of one voice.
Ladies and gentlemen of Upper Wickham. Hello, how are you? Well, tonight, Have a Pickle visits Upper Wickham. And you know, I can never visit Upper Wickham and see the lovely Priory without remembering the story of the Yorkshireman in Piccadilly Circus, who was walking along with a barrow full of manure. And he was stopped by a policeman who asked him where he was going with a barrow full of manure. To which the Yorkshireman replied, "By gum, lad, there's not gonna be the monkey barramuck." But straight away, let's have our first friend up from the audience.
And our first guest, Wilfred, is Mr. Angus McGillicuddy from Wapping.
Well, Mr. McGillicuddy, or may I call you Angus?
No, you may not.
Now, Angus, tell us, what do you do for a living?
Wilfred, I'm a pearl diver.
Well, is that a fact?
No, it's a lie. Wilfred, I am in fact a retired musical comedian, and what is more, Wilfred, I told the first joke, Wilfred, ever broadcast on radio.
And will you tell it us now?
Wilfred, I'd be very pleased and honored to tell you that joke now, Wilfred. Here it is. My mother-in-law, she's so fat that when she walks down the street, she looks like
5 dogs fighting in a sack.
You've
Very
ruined
good.
me joke, Wilfred. You've ruined me joke.
Oh, well, never mind. Now, tell us, have you ever had any embarrassing experiences?
No, Wilfred, no.
Oh. Well, is there any one thing in life, one thing you enjoy more than anything else in the whole of the world?
No?
Well, if you were king of the world, is there anything you'd like to see changed?
No?
I think you've given him the wrong script, Mabel. Anyway, now it's time for the jackpot question.
Oh.
And what have we got on the table, Mabel?
Well, this week, Wilfred, on the table, we've a tablecloth, some knives and forks, a bottle of brown sauce, and some salt and pepper, and me.
And here is the question. If it takes 2 men 4 years to walk an elephant, how long is a rhubarb tart?
I'm going to have a guess, Wilfred. I'll have a guess. 4 weeks and a wombat.
No. But now it's time for us to go. So join us again next week with Harry Hudson at the piano and Mabel at the table, ready for another spot of homely fun, presenting the people to the people. Until then, cheerio, Upper Wickham. Cheerio!
But another challenge was just around the corner. The pop boom. A challenge that still faces the BBC today, and the chiefs are still arguing over how to treat pop music.
Take no notice, perhaps it'll go away.
No, I doubt it. I doubt it. But why do people want to listen to this sort of beat music? I mean, we don't have sex on the radio, do we?
I wouldn't know, sir.
No, I suppose this demand for more music will have to be met.
Oh, I think we do quite enough, really. I mean, we've got morning music, and those were the days.
Yes, that's just the trouble. Unless, of course, we could pop them up a bit.
Pop them up a what, sir?
It is this kind of forthright, relevant discussion that produces decisions in the BBC, and plans have now been formulated to increase the output of pop music by slightly altering the composition of existing programmes. For example, here is a brief rundown of a typical morning next April. 5 a.m. till 7.
Swing till 7.
7 till 7:30.
Swing till 7:30.
7:30 till 9.
Swing into morning.
9 till 1.
Swing up to news time.
1 till 1:10.
Swing right through news time.
Anyway, we believe that the present pop programmes bring pop music to the teenagers in a way that only the BBC can.
Hello again, it's my favourite Sunday show, Deadbeat. Topping the latest releases, of course, is the fabulous All I Really Want to Do Is You, sung by the Birdies. And of course, the big record in the States this year is, yes, All I Really Want to Do Is You, sung by the Birdies. And so today, live on Deadbeat, we've got All I Really Want to Do Is You, sung by, yes, Angus Prune and Rosie Bedsock. Well, that should be enough to remind you of the real thing. Now, this week's special guests are the boys who made worldwide hits with those fabulous oldies. Mrs. Brown, you've got a lovely daughter, and I'm Henry VIII, I am. So here to follow up the new trend for old songs, it's Timothy's Termites.
Come into the garden, Maud, for the black night has flown. Come into the garden, Maud. I am here at the gate alone. Oh, I am here at the gate alone. Second verse, same as the first. Come into the garden, Maud, for the black night has flown. Oh, come into the garden, Maud. I am here at the gate alone. Oh, I am here at the gate alone. And the woodbine spices is wafting abroad, and the musk of the roses is blown. For the breeze of the morning moves, and the planet of love is on high. I come into the garden, Maud, for the black night is flown without your trousers. Come into the garden, Maud. I am here at the gate alone. Oh, I am here at the gate alone. Oh, I am here at the gate alone. Mrs. Maud, you've got a lovely garden.
And so, leafing through the pages of the BBC story, we have arrived at the present time.
Happy Christmas. I do hope you like it.
What lies ahead? Who knows? What changes will occur? Who knows?
What will the new pattern of broadcasting be? Who knows? Who knows what lies ahead? Who knows? As we close the book for the moment, who knows what may have happened by the time it is opened again?
You're tuned to wholesome, unbeatable BBC, bright, breezy, and cheerful. Everybody's favorite auntie, and it's a good evening to you. Time now for the weather. And there it is, friends, till tomorrow. Same time, same spot on the dial, when we'll be introducing another bumper show by saying,
good evening, here is the news.
On Fabulous BBC.
Hello? This is the late show. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hello. It's Mrs. Smith here.
Oh, Mrs. Brown. Hello.
Hello.
Oh dear, I'm sorry. I'm not used to being up so late.
Nor am I, really.
Really? Oh. What do you normally do at this hour?
Oh, well, I don't think I really want to answer that.
No. Well, what would you like to talk about then, Mrs. Green?
Well, I just wanted to know who was on that show just now.
Oh, yes, well, that was Tim Brooke-Taylor, Graham Garden, David Hatch, Joe Kendall, and Bill Oddie.
Oh, I see. Who wrote it then?
Bill Oddie with Tim Brooke-Taylor and Graham Garden. And the songs are by Bill Oddie, too.
Oh, fancy. Are there going to be any more?
No. This was the last in the present series of I'm Sorry, I'll Read That Again.
Well, who produced it then?
Humphrey Barclay.
Oh, dear, I am sorry.
Yes. Well, Mrs. Jones, it's getting late on the late show, so can we play you a record?
Oh, yes. I'd like the signature tune of I'm Sorry, I'll Read That Again, please.
Oh, of course, yeah. Good night.
Good night.
Well, as you've just heard, that was the last in the present series of I'm Sorry, I'll Read That Again. But you may like to know that the programme will be returning next March.